Alright, we should be recording. Just, yep, I see the file. Yay! Continuing in Going Medieval Early Access. Key was provided by, Tinsley PR. Yeah, so last week I was without power. Pretty good reason to, not stream, don't you think? Well, not have a recording. I'm just trying to remember where it is I'm trying to go on my phone. No, not this one. That one. Okay. Just the... Oh, good, it did finally hook in. OBS did not initially hook into the game, so I had to use the window. It is now hooked into the game. And my brain just switched off for a moment there. Oh, perfect. And hang on. This. That. There. That's a little bit more comfortable to look at. There. What am I doing in here? I'm not sure I care. No one is liking religious activities. This is not a thing. It's like everybody can have whatever. Large restitution is okay. But I also need to... Well, I want to figure out how to do that. How to have the other one, but... Anyway. Sorry, my brain is a little flummoxed with other things going on. But yeah, so we lost power last week. We obviously have it back. That's right, that is one thing I want to talk about. Going Medieval did get an update this week. Not major, though. It was actually about how the buildings work. And it was weird to read through because it's basically like, yeah, this is something that like won't impact any user experience necessarily, but they needed to make these improvements to how buildings are handled in the game. Is that it? Okay. No. There. There. I'm sorry, those should not have been waiting. But yeah, because it's been so long, I don't remember what it is I may have been trying to work on. Yeah, and Steward is high, but there's other things that do come first. I feel like I've already done one of these recently. Oh. Well, yeah, that's true. Wait, what? I was inviting restitution. Never mind. It is also who was upset about being too long? No one is deprived of. Okay. No one's being deprived of religious activity. Yeah, you're devout restitution. So this we can do anytime. Can't do anything with that. Yeah, I mean, it's like... There. Can I complain? Just see. Yeah, the only things I've noted... one, lots of release dates out. Seriously. I think the majority of the stuff in the Friday news item was just, this release date was announced, this release date was announced, this release date was announced, and this release date was announced. It was kind of nuts. I'm trying to remember what they all were. Hang on. That's going to be easier to see. Here and there. of them, the one I am legitimately interested in, it'd be Plucky Squire, the Plucky Squire from Devolver Digital. I don't remember who the developer is for that. That does seem like it could be a fun, cute game. That's coming out September 17th. Another that's like, I'm in another time, in another situation I may have been more interested in, which is Dragon Age The Veilguard. That's releasing October 13th, but it's... I've only played Dragon Age 1 and 2. I have Inquisition. I need to play that at some point. I just finding time for it and things like that. But it's also... I still remember when seeing that announcement trailer, whenever it was. Because it's also... I don't log into Google, so I don't see the stuff, the trailers that are age-gated. But I remember still that first one, it looked like it was a heist. And it's like, that's not Dragon Age to me. Dragon Age is supposed to be this epic adventure quest thing. Like, that's what Dragon Age 1 is, and was very good. Dragon Age 2 felt a bit more restricted, but it felt that there was meaning to what I was doing. That trailer was completely like, here's your hacker, here's your muscle, here's your mastermind kind of thing. Not that there was actual substance to what was happening. And I know I shouldn't judge things just based on that, but it still is like, I'm not sure how much I care. So, I mean, that is one of those I wish I were more interested, but I'm not. And I'll just see how it goes in the future. Like, you know, maybe there will be reviews of it that are like, oh no, this is really good. Then maybe I'd get it. Okay, what? Just trying to think. I mean, I could try working on the thing. It's like, yeah, technically I have both those. A large restitutionist shrine. What is that, though? What is a large shrine? Yeah, it doesn't tell you. Oh man, you gotta love it. And by that I mean this is not well designed. No, I mean seriously, you shouldn't have a requirement and then not tell the player what satisfies the requirement. Oh, okay, that was somebody working on this. Well, that's good. I legitimately cannot remember what it is I want to work on next. Like, what need? Oh, wait, what? I thought I'd already done this stuff. Because I remember doing a trade previously, like not that long ago. Huh. Yeah, this is weird, because like I don't have anything, don't have much to sell. It's certainly not much I'm interested in. I don't even know if I need, hang on. Overview. Domestic. Sort by that. What do I got for sheep? Okay, I got male and female sheep. Alright, Don't need chickens. Don't need goats. Pretty sure, yeah, I've got goats. Pretty sure I've got plenty of goats. I get that it's not telling me what all. I mean, I get that it only tells me what all. Oh, hang on. There we go. I did do the training before. I just didn't tell him to come back. That's what it was. Wait. Okay. Yeah. This should. It's a little weird how empty this is. But that's why. That's why. Actually, what is it? Okay, so really there's nothing. Not even... And then that makes that too small. Well, unless I do it... Come on. So I do it like this. It's not complaining. Because, I mean, this it makes sense to keep outside. I mean, it's a forge. You need air movement. Same with these. Cool. It's back. Didn't need to pull the camera, though. The heck? Oh. Okay. Then the gold coins, which that's not so big. There. Would that be crafting or constructing? New either. I don't know which relocating is. So 10 crossbows. Whenever that gets done. Not sure why it's not getting done. Okay, now we got people doing things. There. And yes, so that did get a bonus. What are the resources? Okay, I don't have mechanical components. That's probably part of what's going on there. What is it I want to do next? Also, I'm just checking. Okay, so yeah, I only have two other things that I have noted here. One is Sins of Civil Empire 2 is out, which I'll probably be buying that because, I mean, enjoying the first one. And it definitely looks very much the kind of... I enjoy the first one, as I said, and this looks enough in line with that, so it's like, yeah, why not? It's likely something I will enjoy. I like science fiction. I like space-based stuff, so yeah. there's even part of me that if I had already purchased it, I was at least tempted to like stream to do a recording in that instead. Other thing is, and it's only because it would be somewhat relevant. I've not seen it, but I've seen stuff talking about the Borderlands movie that apparently is not going to make any money. That it is not being received well, and is generally being described as very, very bad. Which in some ways is a shame, because the Borderlands, at least the first game was good. Second game was also good. It was weird. I've seen one person trying to say that Handsome Jack is like one of the best villains ever in a video game. It's like, I'm not completely certain about that. I mean, I'm just trying to remember anything about him that really made him stand out. Because, like, aren't there other villains that also do the whole, I'm your buddy, I'm your friend, I'm doing all these good things, see? And then it's like, no, he's actually an evil tyrant. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that's, like, kind of a villainous trope. I mean, it's also kind of the nature of a villain as well, that they think that what they're doing is good, but it's actually very evil. So, yeah, I'm not really convinced that that's great, but... And also, Borderlands 2 definitely really started shifting more towards, why is this dude unconscious? Like, seriously, what's wrong with you? I'm just... Okay, so I should... do something like that, then. They really should tell you, if you have something like this, that is, working at daybreak and early bedtime, then you really should mark what daybreak is here. I don't care if it might be in the almanac. I doubt it is. We'll look. Yeah, there is nothing suggesting that. There's nothing here suggesting that it's recorded there. So this is where it should be. It legitimately should just have a marking, like a sun here and the moon here, telling you when dawn is and when night starts. Anyway, come back to the Borderlands stuff. Borderlands 2, I do remember. Last time I played it, I didn't, which was after I did. That was the first game I reviewed. I remember noticing more so how, yes, it was definitely being designed as though, oh yeah, people just play this with other people. People don't play this alone. I was really starting to notice that. The first one is is the best of the three I've played, which I've not played Borderlands 3. First one was the best balanced for solo play. Second one was starting to drift into, if you're not, wait, there are people that play alone? Borderlands pre-sequel is an absolute crap game. And that was, beyond any doubt, designed around, oh, people only ever play with people, right? There's no such thing as a single-player experience here, right? That's how we're designing this game, right? That's exactly how the game was, and it was crap. But yeah, it just... it would have been nice to have a good video game-based movie that's modern. I mean, I'm actually not sure what would be a classic one. That was really good. I mean, I technically count Last Starfighter, even though that technically wasn't based on a game. There was a game marketed for it, but that is in some ways a very video game kind of movie. And there's definitely a connection to video games there too, if you've ever seen it. But it is just some stuff with it is like, I'm trying to think of how best to put this. Because I don't want to put down any of the people that acted in it, especially since I've not seen it. I don't know if they were good in it or not, but it is one of the things about a movie based on an already established IP, such as a video game, especially one that was very popular. Sorry, I just want to pause to get through this. I'm not focusing on the game. You already have a fan base. Like, if you respect the IP, you will get people to come and see it. Just because, hey, I really like the games, it would be good to see this. Now, it's also true, though, that Borderlands 3 was not so well received. So, technically, the time for this has already passed. And it's not like there's a new game coming up that's also being announced at this time. It's not like they're even building this up. I think, though, this game had originally been scheduled for a much earlier release. And even, like, it had been finished and just hadn't come out for a while because of the pandemic and such that they delayed things for that. But it's like the timing doesn't make sense. But going back to the point I was saying about, you already have people that you can expect, that if you respect what you have done, you can expect people to come and see it. That then opens up that you don't need big names associated with it. I mean, a big name brings in people that like that person. So a few weeks ago with the whole Rob Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday, which there's various reasons why you don't want to do. I talked about that in a previous video. He is somebody that draws people, especially for Marvel, because he did Iron Man. He did Tony Stark so well. And that character was so important that bringing, that mentioning him, yes, that is going to get people interested. I am somewhat interested. I'm also interested just because Dr. Doom is a very interesting character. So if done well, that can be a very, very good story. I don't necessarily have any reason to believe they will do well, but I am interested there, whereas I'm not interested in the other stuff, where it's like, why am I supposed to care about this? The Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It's like, Doctor Strange is a very interesting character. I like that original movie. But he's kind of not been... Like, I know a little bit about Doctor Strange. He's an interesting character. You could do so much there. But it seems like they're doing less and less with him. And this, it's like, you now have the Scarlet Witch there. And it's like, okay, is Doctor Strange going to beat her? Because it's his movie. Shouldn't he be defeating her? I mean, say, why do you have this? I mean, it's like, that doesn't make a lot of sense there when there's so much that you can do just with Doctor Strange. So, like, have him meet Agamotto. That could be, and just interactions there. Because I still think that at the end of Doctor Strange, the way the movie, that the way he dealt with Dormammu, I don't know much about Agamotto, but I could see definitely them meeting Agamotto just like applauding him, like, that was good. I like that. Agamotto is the first Sorcerer Supreme for the Earth, and is this exceedingly freakishly powerful character. So, yeah. And he also, like, in one of the times that he appeared in the comics, just decided, I'm going to be the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. Like, that's how he presented himself, because he just... But it's like, we've got Scarlet Witch in that movie, we've got America Chavez. I mean, it's like, I want to see Doctor Strange. I don't necessarily care about these other characters. I mean, think about Spider-Man No Way Home, which has a huge cast. And it's like, I care about Spider-Man there. The villains support Spider-Man, so I'm good with them being there. Then it's like, oh, well, we've got the two other Spider-Man as well. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield? Was that his name? Forgive me if I have that wrong. But it's like, when I saw that movie, not that I'd never seen those before. I have actually watched the Tobey Maguire movies not that long ago, like a month ago, and I did enjoy them. The first one was kind of very comic booky. The second one was a bit better, more like, no, this is a movie, still respectful comic books it seemed, but not so much I was almost expecting that. If you've seen Hulk and how they could try to do the panel, I almost was expecting that in that first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Third one was not that good. But number two, it's like, that was pretty good. Anyway, so seeing him back, and I know people respect him, so it was still really cool to see Tobey Maguire step through that portal in No Way Home. I don't know the Andy Garfield stuff, but it's like seeing him there, it's like, this is cool, and it felt respectful, and it was still supportive. Where it's like, no, it was Tom Holland's world. The Doctor Strange stuff, it's like, huh? I don't necessarily care about... I want to see Doctor Strange. I don't want to see Scarlet Witch. I mean, if you want to do Scarlet Witch movie, cool, do that. She's an interesting character too, but it's like, that's where I'd want to see her kind of thing. I mean, I'm getting so far afield, I know. Coming back to the Borderlands stuff, it's just... Actually, no, how do I even connect back to that? I want to do a connection back, because I was talking about, the whole having those characters there, and that's kind of my point. It's like, I was for a Doctor Strange movie, I'm interested in seeing Doctor Strange, I'm not interested in seeing these others. You're selling me on that character, not these other characters. But when you already have an established IP, like, I don't necessarily care that it's Benedict Cumberbatch, who's Doctor Strange. I mean, if it's just a good actor doing the role well, he does it well, I think. then I'm happy. And that's also true with Doctor Doom. That's why I'm not so sure I really like Robert Downey Jr. doing it. I mean, not to say he can't. I just don't know. But I saw somebody mention Michael Ironsides, I believe is the name, who voiced Darkseid in the Superman animated series. And it's like, mentioning him for Doctor Doom is like, yes, that would be a good voice there. Because also, technically, you only need a voice for Doctor Doom because he should have the mask. If he's going around without a mask on, unless he gets the mask in the movie, I don't want. It's like that will bother me. If it's like if I'm seeing Doctor Doom's face when he should have the mask on, I will be annoyed. Okay, that would hurt the movie in my opinion. Anyway, so it's like Robert Downey Jr. may just be providing the voice. Well, in that case, Michael Ironside, he can provide the voice. You get anyone to provide a voice that would be very impressive. Hang on, I'm gonna try to fill this in. It's just a little awkward here. There we go. There. So, yeah, and it seemed like with Borderlands, it's like, I don't necessarily care. I just want somebody to play Lilith who's gonna be good at playing Lilith. I don't necessarily care who is playing Roland, as long as it's a good actor playing Roland. Which also, Kevin Hart, I think it's Kevin Hart that's playing him. It's like, Roland's a big dude. Like, I'm 6'4", I'd expect Roland to be bigger than me. Okay? Like, a little bit taller than me, but certainly more muscular than I am. That's not Kevin Hart. I'm sorry, it's not. And who's it? Jamie Lee Curtis is Tannis? Tannis is supposed to be this relatively young genius who very much doesn't know how to talk with people. Like, that's who she's supposed to be. That's not Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm sorry, and certainly not at her age. I mean, it's like, why are we having these people? You could pick I do not doubt that there are far better actors and actresses for these roles. And you don't need them to have names. It could be introducing, at least as far as film is concerned, it could be introducing these people. If they do the job well, that's great. That's what I'd want. Mordecai. I like sniping in those games, so it's like I played as him, having a good kind of wiry old guy who's a little nuts, has pet falcon. It's like, that's Mordecai. And get me a character who does. I have no idea if Mordecai's even in the movie. But it's like, I mean, you can definitely do that. But instead, I'm interested in the characters, not interested in the actors or actresses. So the fact that they pulled these big name people, it's like, why? You don't need to do it. You have freedom there because it's already an established IP. You don't need to pull me in by, I'm really curious, what, I think with Star Wars, the original Star Wars, Harrison Ford was the big name there. No one else was. People knew who Harrison Ford was. To some degree. I don't think he was huge yet. Star Wars made him huge. Indiana Jones made him huge. But I want to say that at that time, he was the main draw. So there would have been people that'd be like, hey, yeah, who the hell is Mark Hamill? I don't know who Mark Hamill is. Who's Carrie Fisher? Well, actually, no, some people would know her because of her parents. Eddie Fisher and, I can't think of her name. But she was the actual love interest in Singing in the Rain. But it's like, Carrie Fisher, there would be some interest in it. I'm not sure if she was known for her acting yet. Well known for her acting, I should say. But Harrison Ford, I'm pretty sure, was known. So it's like people would have been somewhat interested in that. There's also the whole, if you market it well, it's a great movie for kids to see, and it's good for that. And so it's like, you can market that well, but you don't, it's like Harrison Ford would have been the draw, potentially, there. I'm just trying to think what other examples there might be where it's like, a movie that might be more experimental, something a bit different. So you bring in so in that case, it makes sense. You bring people in because, that's going to get people to come because they want to see this actor. But then it's the reverse. People want to come because of the potential of the story. And you can experiment with the actors then. But they didn't. And that kind of bothers me a little. And I do wonder if that's part of the reason why it's not doing so well. That they put the experimentation, like they were experimenting in the wrong spots, I guess is the way to put that. And I'm just trying to think, because I did write a little bit out. Yeah, because I talked about that. Oh yeah, there's also that one thing that, to be fair, making a movie based on a video game is not going to be easy. Like, it legitimately is not going to be easy. Because, well, here, let me look it up. Because I can't. I have that. I have that information. There. I just need to look it up over here. Okay. Borderlands 2 took me 30 hours. Borderlands 1 was 21 hours. Borderlands the pre-sequel, which is a crap game, 16 hours. You can't make movies that long. So, you do need to do a fair amount of adaptation and cutting. And that I just put in my notes, because, like, to be fair, you can never expect a one-to-one game to movie. Unless the game was made basically straight to be a movie, which there are some that are that. Some games that are that. But it's like, this is... Some adaptation makes sense, but it's kind of what I was saying about the experimentation stuff. You can experiment there with the adaptation a little bit, but you need to be respectful. And it sounded like it was like everything's just centered around Lilith. It's like I think I did one playthrough of that game, of the original game as Lilith. I did it first as Mordecai. I did it. I know I did do one run as her. I did. Who's the big guy? Because the whole, like, rocket launches were his specialty. It's like, yeah, I want to do that at some point. I don't think I ever did. No, I think I did do Owen, because I remember doing a little bit with, he could throw out a turret. I did that a little bit. Don't know how much. But it sounded like, they just made everything centered around Lilith. It's like, okay, well, she's not who I played in the game, so I'm not sure if I completely care there. And actually, I just thought of another thing, because I have heard some people say that it seemed like they wanted to make Borderlands sort of have a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. Guardians of the Galaxy was not a well-known group in the Marvel comics. Like, what wasn't necessarily doing that. That's actually one thing that many people may not realize. At least my understanding is for a lot of the Marvel movies, like even the Avengers, they weren't that popular at the time that that the movies were being made. The X-Men were way more popular, but Marvel didn't have the X-Men movie rights, Fox did. So they worked with the Avengers, which was less popular, but was still a team. And Iron Man is still a popular, can be a popular character, but it's, less so. So yes, get somebody like Robert Downey Jr., who was perfectly cast for that. But Guardians of the Galaxy with, crap. What was his name? Peter Quill's name, the actor. He's one of the Chris's, isn't he? Chris Evans is Captain America, Chris Hemsworth was Thor. I'm just looking up. Chris Pratt, that's right. It's like he had he was known from some television show that I never watched. So it's like he brought people in. Because who the hell are... I mean, that's even kind of a joke there. Who? I mean, it's like no one really knows. And no one knows who... For the movie-going population, no one really knows who a lot of them are. Who Guardians of the Galaxy was, who... crap. What's his name? They're just... The bad guy. Ronan the Destroyer. No. Ronan the Accuser. Wasn't it? That's the actual title? But anyway. No one really knew who the hell they were. So in that case, it makes sense. Get well-known people. So Chris Pratt. Zoe Saldana, she had already... Hang on, this was 2011, right? 2014. So she had already done Avatar and she'd already done Star Trek. So she would bring people in. Dave Bautista, I want to say this was fairly early for his movie career. I could be wrong there. But he would have brought in some people as well. Vin Diesel people would have trusted because he'd already done some voice work, like Iron Giant, that was very well received. Bradley Cooper, plenty of people know him. Even Lee Pace. I know he's done stuff. He was Roman. He's trying to remember. Yeah, he was in the Hobbit movies, which came out before. I feel like there's more than that. I just don't quite remember. But it's like, in that situation, it makes sense. For a lot of the Marvel movies, it made sense to go with people that were big names to draw people in. Because you didn't... The fan base for the comics is not necessarily as large as for video games. So yeah, it's like... that's kind of funny. Stan Lee is credited as the Xandarian Ladies' Man. Yeah. Anyway, I actually recently purchased you can get a set that's Marvel Phases 1, 2, and 3, all the Blu-rays together, for a little bit more than $200. I actually ordered that recently, so I'm going to be watching through all those very soon. I don't have my own set. I'd have to borrow from family. It's like, well, now I got it all. So I'm just looking at Lee Pace's thing. I really thought that there was more. No. Okay, so the main thing would have been Thranduil in the Hobbit movies, which that's Legolas's father. And let me see. Yeah, so the first one of those came out in 2012. Guardians of the Galaxy might have been filming at the time The Hobbit came out. So he would have been Thranduil for probably a year or two. Like, he would have wrapped a lot of that filming, maybe a year or two before Guardians of the Galaxy started filming. Because they likely did all three trilogy of the Hobbit trilogy movies back to back to back. Which means that the third one, Battle of Five Armies, would have had a lot done by the time the first one came out. Anyway. But yeah, that's a situation where, yes, get the big names. Borderlands is not that case. It really isn't, especially now with video games, because even if it's like, oh, but how many moviegoers know Borderlands? It's like, that's fair, but there's a lot of people that play video games and do other things. Okay? I mean, you would want them to come first. If it's a good movie, they come first. And a lot of them, like, oh man, I don't even want to think how old Borderlands is. Borderlands 2 is 13 years old. No, 12 years old. Borderlands 1 is even older. That means that they're M-rated games, but let's say people are actually playing them at 15, 16. So 12 years later at 15, that makes them 27. That's old enough that they could be married and have kids. Now, not that they would necessarily bring their kids to Borderlands, but if they're married, they could bring their spouse. If they're not married, but they date, they could bring them. They could bring their friends if they enjoy it, if they like the movie. So it's like, because they're going to want to come if you're doing a good job, if you're doing a respectful job. What is her skill level? This now. No. Okay. Smithing is 17, but I need it at 20. That. Yeah, I can't really think of more to say. I know I'm kind of circling with that whole thing about, experimentation and such. But yeah, I don't know if I would want to see Borderlands, because, there's very little excitement around that movie, from what I can tell. I've not seen anything suggesting it's a good movie, as far as reviews go. Hell, the stuff I am seeing about it, where it's just, like, headlines popping up, is talking about how bad it is. It's like, that's not good. Compare that to Deadpool and Wolverine, which I did go see. Did enjoy that. Doesn't mean it's necessarily a great film. Doesn't need to be. It was fun. It was fun. It was entertaining. One thing is weird. I've heard some people say that how it damages Logan. Now, granted, I've not seen Logan, but it's like I'm just there's some things where yes, I some ways I can criticize that movie quite a bit. Deadpool and Wolverine. There's plenty of ways to criticize it, but it just seems odd. Some of the criticisms I have seen for it in other places, but it that was a fun film. I have no reason to believe that Borderlands is a fun film. So I'm sorry, my mind is kind of scattered here. And it's one other thing, because I did look at one review. Somebody saying that apparently Tiny Tina is supposedly a clone of an Iridian, because that's what's necessary to open up the vault. It's like, wait, what? Tiny Tina is an annoying brat. I don't know. In Borderlands 3, did they make her a clone of something? And it's also the Iridians aren't human. She's human, at least looks human. But it's like you fight Iridians. Even in the original Borderlands, I'm pretty sure they're there. Certainly in the other games. They don't look human. Not even remotely. She's not a clone of that. So that's very confusing to me. It's like, wait, like you're just making things up. It does seem like with some of this crap is just I've got an idea for a story. I'm just going to take the skin of a different IP and put it on there. So it's a completely unrelated story that is just wearing the skin suit. And you're supposed to be drawn in because of the skin suit, but then when you find out what's actually underneath, it's not what you want. I mean, think Men in Black as far as skin suits go. It's like, by the end of it, what was the name? I'm going to look that up. Edgar, the Edgar suit. By the end of that, you could see it's decomposing. And, what's inside is this giant cockroach thing that you're not supposed to like. And it's like, it almost feels like with some of this, some of these stories being set in these other IPs, instead of in their own original IPs, it feels like that. Where they took the skins to put it on there, it ends up rotting because they end up doing damage to that IP it's like, who's going to try a Borderlands movie now? No one. It's like, maybe it is something that you could do, but Hollywood has so damaged that it might be like 10, 20 years before someone can try again. That's assuming that the game franchise itself remains relevant. Because it's, it's decomposing, but it's also, you open it up, you actually go there, and what do you find? This hideous, horrible thing inside that you don't really want. And Black was a good movie. Just because I'm mentioning that. And hang on, I need to get a drink of water, but there was another thought that I wanted to share. That's right. Something that'll help defend my position a little bit. Because I've written stories. Now, of course, they're not being read. That's fine. But let's say that they were. And let's say somebody has an idea for a story and wants to try to write it in my universe. Basically do some fan fiction. My view on that is I'm not really going to support fan fiction. Sorry. I mean, some fan fiction is creepy. Okay? I think we all can acknowledge that. Some of it can be really good. But my feeling is this. If you want to do fan fiction on my stories, or in general, that's a good way to learn to write. Because then it's like you're borrowing somebody else's IP. But I don't know if I would ever be comfortable. Like, I have at least one idea that I did take inspiration from an established IP. I'm shooting out, both because the idea I think doesn't need to be in that IP, but also because I don't want to write it as fanfiction. I got the idea for a story. I'm now setting that story in my own IP, in my own idea, in my own world. And I feel like fanfiction, it makes sense for a place like if you're practicing, but something you never intend to publish, just, getting what's it like to write, that's great, do it. But when it comes time that you have a story that you think is good enough, that you want to put out there, that you want to publish, you want to share with the world, not like just, have a few copies run off for family and friends, not something like that. At that point, if you're a good enough writer to write a story that large, a large, significant story like that, then you're a good enough writer to put it in your own And I'm not saying that as a get out of my place. I'm not saying that as a get off my lawn kind of thing. But it's like you can have your own house. You can have your own lawn. Why would you want to be on mine? Go and have your own. It's wonderful. Go do that. And I just that is part of the reason why I am sensitive to the potential that some of these, it's like I've got an idea, I'm going to put it in this other person's universe. It's like, why? I mean, especially if you're not being respectful. I mean, it's like even one movie that I have, Star Trek, the 2009. That is not a Star Trek film. There are very technical reasons why that's not. Like, the actual science fiction there is not Star Trek science fiction. And also, characters are wrong. On a different channel, I actually did one thing because it occurred to me how it's actually very demonstrable that the Kirk character is wrong. If you compare, because they have the Kobayashi Maru test in that movie, it's only referenced in Wrath of Khan. But I think that they tried to, because in Wrath of Khan, when he's talking about, once revealed that Kirk was that Kirk is the only cadet to have beaten the Kobayashi Maru, he's eating an apple. Well, some kind of fruit like that. In the Star Trek 2009, he during the test is eating an apple, but he's being very mocking of it. It's like the original Captain Kirk, Shatner Kirk, isn't mocking like that. He would never be mocking like that. He would have far greater respect. And even what he says when he's talking about this in that scene that's in the Genesis cave, he's talking about how when accused of cheating, he said, "No, I adjusted the parameters of the test. He made it possible to win. He didn't guarantee his victory. He made it possible to win." It's like, that's accurate to the character. He wants the challenge. He revels in the challenge. The idea of just making it insignificant, dismissing the challenge, which is what happens in the 2009 film, that's antithetical to the original Captain Kirk. And it's also in Wrath of Khan, there is a different scene that they're not talking about the Kobayashi Maru, but this is Kirk's response to the Kobayashi Maru. It's after Khan has successfully attacked the Enterprise, and they're having to deal with this, and it's the whole, hey, I'm pulling up the prefix code so I can control their ship and do, lower their shields and all that. Technically, they should have done a hell of a lot more. Like, there are actual problems there. Like, you should change the prefix code then, so Kirk has absolute mastery over the ship, not Khan. Could have triggered a self-destruct there, because there's no reason to believe that anyone is alive on that ship that you need to rescue. It's like in a situation like that, because the Reliant is a powerful ship. It's a full-on starship. And they even say they outgun us and outrun us, so it's better than the Enterprise. Khan cannot be allowed to survive and have that ship. Technically, it would be fully appropriate for Kirk to just detonate that ship. It doesn't matter if there are still crew being held hostage on there. Their Starfleet, this is a situation where they can be sacrificed. We cannot let Khan. Khan is such a high-level threat, you need to kill him. Anyway. But when he's doing that's how Kirk responds to a no-win scenario. He rejects that it's a no-win scenario and comes up with a solution that no one thinks about. I mean, it's like Spock understood what he was doing. Spock didn't give the idea. Saavik had no idea what was going on. It had to be explained to her. Now, true, that was also to explain to the audience. But she is this very bright, very intelligent cadet. Saavik is supposed to be very good. She had no idea. And it's possible no one else on the bridge had any idea. Kirk knows what to do, because that's that's the level he operates at. And that's what he does. He always finds that solution. Star Trek 2009, no, it's more like a fan fiction story in that it has nothing really to do. Like, there's so much of it where the characters aren't right, the science fiction isn't right, the rules of the world aren't right. So I don't know how you could tell that story a different way, like outside of the Star Trek IP, but technically it should have been. That may have been a story that could have been done as its own science fiction IP or sci-fi IP. I consider those separate. Like how I consider rom-com and romantic comedy two separate things. Like, they're related, but it's a little bit different. But I mean, you could do that in a different sci-fi setting. They didn't. They borrowed the Star Trek IP and did damage to it that was still thinking today, because that allowed the subsequent Kelvin timeline, as it's called, movies to happen, and also some of the new television shows are very much derived from that. And it's like it all basically started with that one movie that really is not a Star Trek movie. It's in my collection because when I first saw it, I enjoyed it. It's an entertaining film. It's not a Star Trek film. Yeah, and just I do kind of worry in some ways about IP, like the Borderlands IP, and there's certainly plenty of other Here, now I'm just wondering, looking at my... Looking at the list of my reviews, what other games are they? Like, they did do an Assassin's Creed movie. I've never seen that. I don't think it did well, though. And to be fair, Assassin's Creed is a weird one. I mean, you'd have to almost... You have to have an Indiana Jones vibe to it. BioShock... I have them sorted by... I have them sorted alphabetically. BioShock's possible. Not the original, though. BioShock 1 is too dark to do in film. I think that a lot of people would be like, yeah, but I can't see anything. Yeah, it's a good film, but I can't see anything. BioShock Infinite would be better in that regard. Chorus you could do, but you'd need to... there were issues with that story. You could fix that up, but there would be... Crisis. Yep. Yeah, you could do a Crisis movie. You legitimately could do a Crisis movie. The issue there... The issue there is we don't have, for American troops, active wars at the moment, so it might not... Like, there might be some elements that people... It might not connect with as well. That may sound weird, but it isn't as far off as you may think. But no, a Crisis movie, though, you could do that. And that, if done respectfully, would actually probably do pretty good, because it would allow you to have, like, crossover Predator and Terminator kind of feels there. Take inspiration, don't take those IP. But yeah, you could do some interesting stuff there. But it is also the Crisis franchise, nothing's happening with that, so... But you could legitimately do one in there. Doom Eternal is the next one here, so Doom and Doom Eternal. No, you need to get that in the video game, because I don't think you could do a heavy metal movie quite enough like that. I mean, I know they tried, I've not seen that. It's more just... That is such a video game IP that I think you'd have to keep there. Dark Devotion, I don't know. Darksiders. Darksiders you could do, but you'd have to be very careful. Like, that's one that you could too easily screw up. And it's definitely one of those, how do you adapt down from that? I mean, how long was the original Darksiders? 12 hours. 16 minutes. 12 and a quarter hours. You could. It would be... That would be a difficult one to adapt down for size, for length. Darksiders 2 might actually be a little easier at that, but it's... I would remake Darksiders 2. Like, Darksiders 1 is a good game. You can just, like, do a remaster of that, be fine. And they did, the War Master. Darksiders 2, they did the Definitive Edition. There would be sections that I would completely change. And redo a lot of the RPG mechanics in there that they felt a bit too thrown in and not thought out. Darksiders 3 I did enjoy. I was good with that one. Could you do that as a movie? The adaptation would be difficult. It's possible. That'd be difficult. You'd want to start with Darksiders 1, though, and then see how that goes, and then maybe do 2, and then 3. 2 is also weird, though, because of the whole Absalom stuff. Daylight Death Storm. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Well, just the Adam Jensen Deus Ex. Could you do those as movies? Yes, but I wouldn't trust Hollywood to do them today. Deus Ex needs to be done with sincerity, and I wouldn't trust them to do it sincerely today. Dishonored? Not sure. Might be able to. Dragon Age you could. But the problem there is... Dragon Age I could see them trying to do that, like... I've not seen it, but that live-action Avatar: Last Airbender movie, where it's like it was the first chapter, like the first season, and it's like, well, there's more to this. Like, you needed to make sure you do a trilogy, but the first one was so bad, no one wanted to do more. Like, they want to forget that game. Dragon Age, even Dragon Age Origins, just the one game, that's so large, you'd have to do, like, The Hobbit, where it's a trilogy and figure that, and I'm not sure how well that would work. It might work. That would be difficult. Dustin Elysian Tale. You could do that. You do that as a movie. I think that might be better though, as like a mini-series type thing. So that you can get. How long did that take me? Oh, I actually don't have a play length for it. Um, yeah, that was a longer. I'd want that to be longer. I wouldn't want that cut down too far. Dying Light 1 and 2. I would say no, just because zombies have been done enough that I'm not sure how much that would work. Edge of Eternity. Nah. I maybe, but I think you have to adapt so hard, do so much adaptation that wouldn't work out as well as you'd want. Um, El Paso Elsewhere. The funny thing is, an adaptation might be better there. Just I didn't care for how they did some of the story work. Why do I have Fez listed twice? Oh, that's why. One main game, and then one time it was in a bundle. No, you couldn't do Fez. Fez wouldn't translate. Fallout 3 in New Vegas. I know they did the Fallout television series. But I'm saying that because that's supposed to be its own unique thing. I know, why am I spending all this time? Could you do Fallout 3 in New Vegas? Not as a movie. You would actually need to do it as television because you need to properly set up and sit with the madness of the world. And that's not that easy to do in a movie. Like there's a lot. The thing, and what did they do? 10 episodes or something? No, that needs to be like a full 20 episode season kind of thing. And also done well. My understanding is they did not do that well. Like there's a whole thing with the Brotherhood of Steel, and it's like the dude keeps failing, the dude keeps screwing up, and they keep promoting him every single time. It makes no sense. Far Cry, I've reviewed Far Cry 4 and Far Cry Primal. Far Cry 3, I've played. You couldn't do Far Cry 3. Just certain aspects, like the hallucinatory aspects, I'm not sure how well you could do that in a film. Far Cry 4, I think, would be easier. Far Cry Blood Dragon, you could do in a movie. And that would be a freaking awesome movie. It's like, the thing is, you need to get the right person to do that. That needs to be like, Godzilla -1 situation where it's like somebody has a vision, a clear vision, and they're the one in charge. So that way you, don't spend more than $20-30 million on this movie. Which, let's be real, you could do that. Blood Dragon, it is so over the top, it'll make it easier to do something. I was like, neon everywhere. It's like, but what about this? No, it's neon. That's the answer. It's neon. You could do that. That would make money. That would, because if you make that just, the thing that people love about Blood Dragon is it's just fun. It's just a fun game. There's nothing more to it than that. It is a fun game. And don't overthink it. It's just, yeah. Yeah, that you could do a movie in. This? No, you couldn't. Not easily. Just the emotional connection, emotional impact takes time, and the game gives you that. A movie wouldn't. Did they ever do any Ghost Recon movies? I'm looking at Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I could see maybe, but again, that might be more of a television series kind of thing. Going Medieval? No. Gone Home? I don't think so. I didn't enjoy that too much when I played it. It felt, I guess, a easy way to put it is it felt absurdist, and I don't care for absurd stories, which means meaningless, pointless, like Waiting for Godot, where it's literally just people saying I'm waiting for a guy who never even shows up. GTA? Nope. I don't think you could do that in a movie because there's too much to that. That's also like catharsis that you just get to do whatever the hell you want. They did do a Hitman movie. I've not seen it, so I don't know. I'm just looking at Hitman 2. In theory, you might be able to do some stuff with Hitman. But it's not easy. It's not the easiest to say that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just that legitimately would be tricky. You might need that to be done in different ways. Immortals Phoenix Rising. Maybe. Maybe you could do that. It would be tricky though. Um, yeah, like that. I don't know if you could cut it down well enough for a movie. Might need to be a short miniseries kind of thing. Just Cause. Yeah, you could do a Just Cause movie. But I could also see that being almost like a spin-off IP. So that would be like, you get approval, but, have the, I mean, Rico's a great action hero for a movie. Let's be real. I mean, it's like, yeah, it could be fun. Um, uh, yeah, Mad Max. We've done that. Those are movies. Metal Wolf Chaos. Oh my god. That would be amazing to see as a movie. Metro franchise. Okay, so they were working on a movie for that. It would be awesome if they actually made that a movie, but they wanted to set it in DC instead of Moscow. It's like, why? I mean, like, legitimately, don't do that. Because, like, the people. So that's going back to the Borderlands thing. And you know what? I'll stop here. I'll stop here with Metro. Um. Oh, no, there we go. So the thing with Metro, the fans of. So the already established fans for that, the existing fan community for the Metro series, we're fans because of the games or because of the books. Both of which you are set in Russia, especially in Moscow. For, crap. Metro 2033, Last Light. And I completely forgot what the third one is named, and I already moved away from the thing. Exodus, Metro Exodus. That one you find. You leave Moscow, but still, you're in Russia. We enjoy it. And it's Russian. That's fine. You don't need to set it in America. Like, that is one thing about that movie stuff for a Metro movie that so annoys me. That's like, no. It's like we are totally okay with it being set in Russia. That's what you're making the movie because it's popular with people in America. It's popular and it's set in Russia for us. We're good with that. Why are you trying to move it? Oh, but that'll bring in more people. It's like, no, it won't. Because let me tell you something. This is how it would work if you made that movie and did it well. We're assuming you're doing it well, that you're respectful of the original IP. You do a Metro 2033 movie. Okay, I played the game. I want to go see that movie because it's exciting. I hear good things about it. I want to go see that movie. I go see the movie. I think it's good. I tell my brother to go. He's never played the games. I think he might have them, like Epic Game Store kind of thing. Actually, no, maybe he has played them. But it's like he doesn't necessarily care so much. My parents, they don't necessarily care so much. I've got actually not many of my friends play video games, so it's like I may start telling them, yes, it's a good movie, to go see it then. So just word of mouth, where you use those of us that are already fans as the word of mouth. But we're the ones where it's like, if you move it to America, we're going to be like, why? I mean, and not as a objection. Well, it is kind of an objection to it being done, but we don't need this. We're fine with it in Russia. Why do you think you need to move it to appease us? We're happy with the original. That's why you're making this, is because we're so happy with the original. So you should be trying to make it the original. Oh, man. And it's, yeah, just, that's kind of what it is with Borderlands as well. I mean, true, Metro, that movie never got made, which is probably a good thing. Which is probably a good thing because if they were making those changes, those adaptations, and in my opinion, unnecessary, they probably would have done other things that would hurt it. But with Borderlands, it's the same kind of deal. Why make some of those changes? You already have the success there. You need to figure out how to shift that success to a different format, to a different medium. That's all you need to figure out how to do. The moment you start being like, well, we're just going to tell our own story there, it's like, no. Now you're abusing the success. Now, because that's somebody else's success that you're not respecting. You're just trying to have your own success and get people to come by tricking them, by making them think that, oh, you're happy here. Like, you like this, so you're going to like us. It's like, no, that's not how that works. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Hollywood will figure this out. Maybe not. Probably not. I mean, it's going to be so interesting because we're going to see collapses in Hollywood coming up in the next few years. And it's not going to be a bad thing because, I mean, they're collapsing because they're failing. And they should fail. I'm saying it's one thing with hearing some people talk about some studios and such that are shutting down, and people talking about how I hate it when people lose jobs. I don't. I don't. I mean, I've spent way too long being unemployed or underemployed, Okay, where it's like, no, I don't have sympathy for people losing their jobs, especially when it's like you're being laid off. Well, you still have all your skills, all your experiences, and when it's like an entire game studio, you probably have a few friends there. You can just start your own indie studio. You will be fine. There's other places you can go. I don't have sympathy for you there. Now, if you end up being chronically unemployed, then I will sympathize with you. Then you have my sympathy, because I know what that's like. But just the whole losing your job is like, nah. I mean, if you're good at what you do, you will be fine. And you have that on your resume as well, which will help you get a job somewhere else. Or to make your own job going indie. So it's like, no. Hollywood, same kind of deal. These people lose their jobs. Those stuff shuts down. I'm not upset because the talent isn't leaving. Well, it's not being lost. It is leaving. It isn't being lost, though. It's, if anything, going to allow a time for it to swell up. So it's like, okay, well, like with video games, I'll bet that every single person that works at any game studio that's actually building the games and not just marketing people, they're there because they want to make their own game. They're not, though. They're making somebody else's game because that's just their role. Now, they probably get to suggest ideas. They get to have influence. But they probably all have some idea for the game that they want to make. Well, if they get laid off and they decide, you know what? Friends, former coworkers, let's be coworkers again. Let's take out a loan, start our own indie company. Let's figure out between us what the game is we want to make. Who here has the best idea for a game? We'll make that. We think it'll be a good game. And, we'll go with that. That's great. Same thing can happen with movies. The only thing with movies, like going indie, is, and I don't remember if I've ranted on this before, with that stuff is just, I don't know if the guild structure has done such damage that there'd be people like, they would just expect that the guilds would survive or the guilds would try to have influence on indie. And it's like, yeah, this isn't going to work. But it's still, I mean, it's like, there are indie films on different things. Like, I could see, actually, there might already be an indie Metro 2033. And I could believe that you could do that. I mean, that's absolutely a Godzilla -1 situation where you could probably do that fairly cheap. I mean, it's like the main effects you need be compositing for a post-apocalyptic feeling. The sets may be a little difficult, but you might be able to find a place that you could borrow a subway or even abandoned subway sections which do exist and build up a set there. But then you also need the CG for the monsters, for the mutants. In theory, you can pull those from the games and use some of that. So, like, if you're doing it as a fan thing, you'd probably get away with it a little bit. But it's like, it's just a very small indie project, not meant for theaters. But it's like, you could, but if you got permission, you could definitely do that. It's like, that would be a Godzilla -1 situation. You could do that fairly cheap if you have the focused people on it. I'll bet that with Borderlands, you didn't have focused people. Not on, let's get this project done, that they were producers for producers for producers. So everything was filtered. So you couldn't necessarily get from the vision that might have been good. Let's assume it was. Getting that vision to reality. Put more steps in the middle. You put more filters in the middle. It's not going to get to, then the vision is not what's going to arrive at reality. It's going to be something else. And that could be far worse. Sometimes, I mean, some filters are good, but not all. Anyway, that has been more than enough of my talking. I've been going for, about half an hour? I am sorry about that. But it's just, story means something to me. It's important to me. And the Borderlands thing it gave me a path to start going, and I went. All right, so assuming we don't lose power again, which I don't think we will, I will see you next week. Oh, man. Oh, I need to get better at not ranting. See you then.